Is Donald Trump really blowing it when it comes to Puerto Rico? Hey, everybody, I'm Chad Hasty, host of the Chad Hasty Show, which airs weekday mornings 8:30 to 11 a.m. Central Time on News Talk 95.1 FM and 790 a.m. KFYO. Well, if you hear the left talk about Puerto Rico and President Trump, in other words, the government's response to Puerto Rico, the Democrats would have you believe that he's been a complete and total disaster. But that's not necessarily the entire case. According to the Washington Examiner, this is something that's been building for a long time. There's also some headlines off of Fox News and the Washington and another story from the Washington Examiner as well. Senator Marco Rubio, who's actually traveled to Puerto Rico, unlike a lot of these Democrats who are beating up President Trump over the response to Puerto Rico. Senator Marco Rubio saying, quote, they responded to the storm, talking about the government, the federal government, to the storm the same way we responded to storms. They responded to it in a way no different than Texas or Florida in terms of assets. He also went on to say, what that is the federal government says we are here to the local government or to the state government. In the case of Puerto Rico, the territorial government there. We are here to help. Tell us what you need. Marco Rubio went on to continue to say the model generally works. It worked in Florida a couple of weeks ago. It helped in Texas, but it did not work in Puerto Rico. The reason why it didn't work is because the government in Puerto Rico is a victim of the storm. Rubio went on to say there are 78 municipalities. Some of the mayors themselves could not communicate with San Juan. Now, remember, the mayor of San Juan, Puerto Rico, has been quite outspoken, saying that this is going to be a genocide, that they're not getting any help. But they are getting help, and she keeps going after President Trump, and Trump, in turn, goes after her. Now, I don't know if Trump going after her is necessarily helpful in the days after a disaster. I think there's a time and place for that. But the president is punching back against her because if you just listen to the mayor of San Juan, if you just listen to Democrats, which she is a Democrat. In fact, there's the Gateway Pundit reported that she was a major Hillary Clinton donor. If she were to have her way, it would sound like President Trump is just ignoring Puerto Rico altogether, and we know that that is not true at all. The fact is, Puerto Rico is badly damaged. It was damaged even beforehand. Remember, this has been a territory that has been in all kinds of a messed up situation. They've been in debt. There's been all kinds of stuff going on the island, even prior to the hurricane. Now, here's some of the military aid right now to Puerto Rico, some of which maybe you haven't heard about. There are over 4,400 service members participating in the U.S. response. 4 U.S. naval ships are there. 8 C-17 transport planes have been involved in rescue missions over Puerto Rico, and nearly 200 supply sorties have been flown over Puerto Rico. That's probably something you have not heard about. Sarah Huckabee Sanders, the press secretary for the White House, sending out a tweet earlier talking and trying to describe what all has been done in Puerto Rico. And in fact, if you listen to other mayors in Puerto Rico, a story from the Washington Examiner, neighboring mayor praises Trump, says the San Juan mayor has been playing politics and hasn't been showing up at all the meetings that people have been having. And then finally, a CEO from Puerto Rico says the local government there in San Juan is totally inexperienced and corrupt. He says the head of this is CEO Jorge Rodriguez. He's the CEO of PACIV. In an editorial in the New York Post, he said for the last 30 years, the Puerto Rican government has been completely inept at handling regular societal needs, so I just don't see it functioning in a crisis like this one. Even before the hurricane hit, water and power systems were already broken, and the $118 billion debt crisis as a result of government corruption and mismanagement. Listen, there are a whole lot of things going on in Puerto Rico, and we can talk about all the ineptness in the government in Puerto Rico, but the fact is, There does need to be help in Puerto Rico. And guess what? Help is in Puerto Rico. It's just going to take a while. This isn't like Hurricane Katrina. This isn't like New Orleans. This isn't like Houston, where it was easy to get power trucks and help via interstates to Houston and to New Orleans. This is an island that was very badly damaged by two Hurricane 5 Category 5 hurricanes. You have roads that still have debris strewn all over them. You had an airport that was badly damaged. And yes, you've had corruptness within the government and people who can't communicate because they have no infrastructure as of right now. It's a very difficult situation, and I think the government is probably doing all they can do. Now, this should be another reminder to everyone, maybe especially those who are living on an island, that you shouldn't count on the government to come and help you out within 24 hours. Sometimes it takes a little bit longer. Sometimes you have to fend for yourself, and it's sad that people are having to do that. In Puerto Rico, it's a desperate situation. I get it in Puerto Rico, but to stand around like Democrats are doing and like some in Puerto Rico are doing and blame Donald Trump for all the ills of Puerto Rico and for things not happening, when you actually look at the facts of the situation, the facts are help is getting to Puerto Rico. It's just going to take some time. Tune in to the Chad Hasty Show, weekday mornings, 8:30 to 11 a.m. Central Time. News Talk 95.1 FM, 790 a.m. KFYO. Have a great day. We'll talk later.